William, I'll just confirm whether I can share my screen.
You should be able to share your screen.
All right, so just confirm that you're able to see my screen before I get started.
I can see it.
All right, thank you. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our first information session for the GreenTech4CE Digital Economy Accelerator and Incubator program that is being implemented by BongoHive. All right, so I will be your facilitator today. My name is Momo Mobila Kakoma, and I'm the Manager for Special Projects and Enterprise Development at BongoHive. Just to quickly give a bit of context, so the purpose of this meeting or this session today is pretty much just to give you some information on the GreenTech4CE Incubator and Accelerator program. So to provide the necessary information that you'll need to make a decision on whether you qualify and whether you're eligible to take part in the program. So that's what we'll be doing today, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. So this is an interactive session, although we'll leave questions for the end. So if you have any questions while I'm speaking, anything that you would like for me to clarify, please feel free to just put your questions in the chat from wherever you're watching, whether you're on this call with us here on Zoom, or if you're on our other media platforms where we're streaming live as well. Please feel free to just put your questions down. Yes, please feel free to put your questions down and I'll be able to answer them after the session. All right, so just to tell you a bit about BongoHive, who's the implementing partner for the program. So BongoHive is a tech innovation and entrepreneurship tech innovation and entrepreneurship hub based in Lusaka, Zambia. And we've got 15 years of experience implementing programs across technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation programs, not only across Zambia, but we've also implemented some regional programs. We've got a proven track record. So we've supported over 2,500 startups in the 15 years that we've been operating. And a lot of our programs have been funded locally and also regionally by international, corporate, and government partners. BongoHive operates as a community, so we don't do everything on our own, and we really and truly value community. So we've got a newsletter that comes out every Monday where you can stay up to date with everything that BongoHive is doing, all the programs that we're implementing. And this newsletter currently has a subscriber base of over 12,000 subscribers. We've got over 43,000 social media followers across Zambia, and we're extremely active on all our social media platforms. So if you want to stay up to date on opportunities similar to this, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a funder, please feel free to join our social media channels to keep up to date with what we're doing. So our core services are, so we provide incubation programs, acceleration programs. We've also got an AI lab. We also do technology consulting, so building software for different partners and different clients, supporting them to digitize their operations. We also do innovation consulting, and we also have co-working spaces based in Lusaka, in mass media along Alikinkata Road. So we've been selected to implement this program, which is funded by the EU. And we've been contracted by South of Africa to deliver the program on behalf of the EU Global Gateway Initiative. So why does this program exist? So just to give you a bit of context, we're now getting into a digital age. So we need to support businesses to digitize, to access funding, and also to just be able to scale their businesses to become successful. So one thing that we've noticed in this ecosystem and when it comes to Zambian founders developing digital business is that we often notice that there's a poor problem solution fit, right? And what this means is there's a weak customer discovery. So people start businesses without understanding who their customers are and why they're serving that customer base. They have limited information on the market that they're entering. So a lot of assumptions are made because of what the actual founder sees or what the founder believes and assumes are problems in the community, and not necessarily based off of what their potential customers are telling them. So at BongoHive, we put the customer at the center of everything that we do, because they're the people that actually pay you for the service or the product that you're delivering. So very, very important to be problem focused, but also to focus on the customer that has existing problem. We've also noticed some technical gaps, so insufficient capacity to build scalable and robust digital product. And as I mentioned earlier, one of our core services is that we do provide technology consulting. Half our team here at BongoHive is made up of software developers. And what they do is that they support startups, corporates. We've even had some government projects as well to build the necessary technology that is needed for a business to scale. So that is also part of what we're going to be doing on this program. Another weakness that we've seen in the Zambian digital startup ecosystem is weak business models. So there's a lot of focus on the technology that you're building. You see a problem, you immediately go and build an application for it. But do you understand whether people are going to pay for it, how they're going to pay for it, what your costs are, where you're getting your money from? So these are all questions that we help to answer through the programs that we have. All right. Next thing that we've also noticed is that these startups need investment readiness support. So before a founder stands in front of an investment committee, it's important that they are investment ready. It's important that they do not go in there blindsided, that they understand exactly what investors are looking for. And one thing that we like to do to challenge the startups that we work with is you must be at least solving $1 million project, or so you must be solving, sorry, $1 million problem. If your problem is not worth $1 million, it is very unlikely that investors will actually give you the time of day. Because when an investor invests in your business, they do want to see a return. So what does your market size look like? Right? How much money, revenue or profit are you generating from solving that problem? Is it even a problem that is worth solving? So these are all the problems. These are all the questions that we answer through our programs. Another very key thing is that we don't do business alone. Business is done in community. Business is done through collaborations and through partnerships, right? So a very important part of our programs is ensuring that we're connecting startups and founders to the right networks. So BongoHive, as I mentioned, has existed for the past 15 years. We have a very strong brand. And if you're a business that is just starting up, sometimes it may be unlikely that you will get the time of day from maybe large partners because you don't have enough of a track record. But going through a program like this and going through a program that has been implemented by BongoHive puts you in a position to get visibility, and also gives you the backing that you need to be able to approach the types of people that you'll need to help you scale your business. So another thing that we do is to open up networks, open up strategic partnerships and investors for startups that go through our programs. And finally, in order to address all these different challenges, or rather weaknesses that we've seen in the digital startup ecosystem, the GreenTech4CE program, we believe, is the solution, where we're providing end-to-end support, and we're combining technical support, business growth, and investment readiness support to the startups that qualify to be successfully admitted to the program. Okay, so I'll take you through what the program structure looks like. So this program will last 12 months, okay? And it's divided into 3 phases. The first phase, which we're in, is the recruitment and the selection phase. Then we move on to the incubation phase, and then finally the acceleration phase. So the recruitment and selection phase, the duration for that phase is 1 to 2 months. So we are currently in the recruitment and selection phase, and we're nearing its end actually, but we're still in it. And this is where we are doing road shows. So we've just completed a roadshow in the last 2 days. It took place on Wednesday and Thursday in Lusaka. Next, we'll be going to Quito and Ndola as well. And here, we're allowing, so it's a limited roadshow. Unfortunately, we can't see too many people, but there's so many different ways that we're trying to reach our target, and we're trying to reach the startups. So we do encourage people, if you can attend a roadshow, please attend a roadshow, because that is where we're actually helping potential participants to understand what we're looking for. As you're applying to the program, we're helping you, go through the application form to understand what we're looking for, to understand how to answer the questions. Some of the weaknesses that I talked about earlier, we're helping you to understand and also overcome some of those weaknesses in the 2 days. So it's quite an intensive 2-day session, but it's well worth it if you're serious about getting into the program. So how are we recruiting and selecting participants? One is that we're conducting 2-day roadshows in Lusaka, in Kitwe, and in Ndola, and these are physical. And we're only admitting 50 participants per city, so it is limited. You have to register, and we'll let you know whether you are admitted and whether you qualify to attend the roadshow or not. We're also publicizing and doing a marketing campaign on all our social media networks. So please, as I mentioned earlier, make sure that you're following all our BongoHive pages, whether it's on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on X, WhatsApp channel, literally everywhere, TikTok, and just make sure that you get onto the program page and understand, right, the criteria first before applying. And then another thing that we're doing is that we're also reaching out to trusted partners who work with startups, work with businesses, and we're also getting their support to be able to spread the word. So if you are a startup and you don't necessarily qualify for this, share the news with your friends. Don't keep the news to yourself. So during our recruitment and selection phase, once we close the applications in the first or second week of April, I'll share the dates later. Once we close the applications, we'll be then reviewing all the applications and selecting 40 startups, right? So we are not selecting a specific number in Lusaka, a specific number in Quito, a specific number in Dola. Our focus is not necessarily on the numbers, but it's the quality of the businesses, right? So for example, if most of the quality businesses are in Kitwe, then most of the businesses that we'll select will be in Kitwe. So that makes it fair, across the board. So what we want is 40 startups that actually qualify and are quality startups to get into the program. And these will be selected through our recruitment platform called Idea Spring. So once the first phase is done and we've selected our 40 startups, we'll then proceed into the second phase, which is the incubation phase. And in the incubation phase, we will have 2 sub-phases. The first phase is that all the 40 startups will go through a design lab. So this, again, is a very intensive 2 months, right, that all 40 startups will go through. After the 2 months, we will then be selecting and shortlisting a further 20 startups, right? So that means from 40 startups, we're going to cut down to the top 20. And this top 20 are the people that are going to be committed to the program, the people that will actually be doing the work that we ask them to do. We're going to be looking for startups that are going to grow, that would have grown the most in the 2 months based off of the assignments and the work and the tasks that they'll need to do on their business. So if you are part of the 40 and you're not doing work and you haven't grown in the next 2 months, you will be cut off and you won't be able to proceed to the next phase, right? So the first phase of the incubation phase, the first part of the incubation phase is the design lab, and that lasts 2 months. And then we will pick the top 20, okay? And the top 20 will then go through the second part of the incubation phase, which is the business growth phase, okay? So in there, we'll also be working with the top 20. And after that, after the 4 months, the top 20 will then go through, they'll be expected to pitch during a demo day, okay? And during that demo day, we will then pick the top 10 that will then move on to the next phase, the third and last phase of the program, which is the acceleration phase. And this will then last a further 3 months. So only the top 10 startups will be moving on to the acceleration phase. And this is where you will really be getting a lot of dedicated one-on-one support. You'll also be getting some legal support from our partners. We'll also introduce you to potential partners. We'll help you to get ready for investment. And you'll also be getting the grant funding of up to 25,000 euros. Okay, so these are the 3 phases of the program. I'm going to repeat again. So we are in our recruitment and selection phase. We're picking 40 startups at the beginning of this program. You will then move on to the incubation phase, which is broken down into 2 stages. The first stage lasts 2 months, and you'll be 40 of the successful startups. After 2 months, we will be cutting the number to 20. The 20 will go into the business growth phase for 4 months, and then the 20 will be expected to pitch at a demo day in order to move forward to the acceleration phase, where we will only be accepting 10 startups, and they will be eligible for our grant funding, right, of up to 25,000 euros. And there you'll be getting a lot more one-on-one support. All right, so for our roadshows, we'll be interacting with a total of 150 potential startups, potential applicants, potential participants. That means 50 in each location, 50 in Lusaka, 50 in Kitwe, 50 in Ndola. The one in Lusaka already took place on Wednesday and Thursday. So next stop is Kitwe and Ndola. So if you haven't yet registered for our roadshow in Kitwe and Ndola, please make sure that you do. Those of you that are in Lusaka that have experienced the last 2 days, please make sure that you spread the word, share your experience as well, so that your friends in Kitwe and Ndola can also join. So again, 40 startups in the design lab. We're going to cut that down into 20 startups in the incubation and then 10 startups in the acceleration phase. So are you eligible to apply for the program? So our eligible criteria is pretty much straightforward. The first thing that tells us that you're serious about your business is if you register your business, okay? So registering a business is very straightforward, doesn't take a lot of time. It's also not very expensive, right? So one thing that you'll need to do is to legally register your business at PACRA. If your business is not yet registered, but you feel like you're eligible for the program, please make sure that your business is registered by the time that this call for application closes, right? That's very, very important for us. That's one of the first signs, along with obviously executing your idea. That's one thing that really tells us that someone is serious about their business. Okay, so the focus of the program is Lusaka, Kitwe, and Ndola. So if you are from any of these places, if you're from the Copper Belt, and if you're also based in Lusaka, please make sure that means you're eligible for the program. So this program is going to be both hybrid and online, right? So it's important that you also take note of that. So mostly it's going to be online, but we will also have some physical touch points throughout the program. So another thing that is really important, you must have a digital business, okay? So if you have a business and you're not using any technology, or technology is not at the core of your business model, then you are not eligible for the program. So digital technology should be at the core of your business model. What does that mean? That means that digital technology should be the thing that enables you to make money for your business, simply put, okay? So you should be able to also defend that in your application form. We're also looking at businesses that have an MVP. An MVP is your minimum viable product, okay? So that means that we're not taking in businesses that are at idea stage. So if you have an idea, you haven't implemented it, you're not yet making any money from it. And when I talk about money, I mean revenue, not necessarily profit. But if you just have an idea, you are not eligible for this program. So we want to work with startups that have an MVP. So that means that you have taken the step, right, to implement, to execute your idea. You have a bit of an understanding of who your customers are. People are willing to pay for your business. That means that you also validated your market. All right, so it is not necessarily required. I know because there's the name green, we've been getting a lot of questions around, does my business need to be green? It doesn't necessarily need to be green or contributing to the circular economy. That is not a requirement for this particular program. But the GreenTech4CE program is a larger program, and there's so many other implementers, right? So in other programs, you will be required to be a green business. But the focus of this one that is being implemented by BongoHive is that you must be a digital business, okay? So that means that green or circular focus is not required, but that means we're not going to be turning people away, right? If they have a green or circular focus, it'll actually be an advantage, okay? That doesn't mean that if you don't have a green or circular focus now, you go and try to find, a way. It doesn't matter. It's not required. As long as you're a digital business, you're contributing to the Zambian economy, you're contributing to the future and the sustainability of Zambia, then you meet the eligibility criteria, okay? So I just wanted to clear that up because we have been getting a lot of questions around that. All right, so we will not be taking in any businesses that are in the agriculture sector. So this program is open, it's sector agnostic. So that means it's open to any sector: health, education, fintech, insurance, so it's open to any sector, but except the agriculture sector, okay? And that's because there are other programs that are focused again on the agriculture sector. So we don't want to be duplicating our efforts. And finally, okay, if you are an immediate family member to the Self-Help Africa organization or any BongoHive staff, unfortunately, you're not eligible to apply. We do not want any conflict of interest, okay? So you have to declare that also as you're applying for the program. So what makes a strong application? Okay, so these are some of the things that we were taking, the potential participants that were attending the roadshows. These are some of the things that we helped them understand in the 2 days. So you must be able to clearly communicate the problem that you're solving, and you must show that you actually have people that are interested in paying for your product or your service. Okay, and the way to do that is to actually talk to your customers. Okay, whether it's through a survey, whether it's through a focus group discussion, whether it's showing proof of, any receipts or, references or testimonials of people using your products or service, or a pilot that you have done, you must be able to demonstrate that the problem that you're solving, people are willing to pay for it. Okay, so that's one of the first things that shows us that you're a strong applicant for the program. Okay, so the next thing is that you have to be able to demonstrate that you and your team are the best people to solve this particular problem. So you do that by telling us what your skills are, and your skills must be related to the program that you're solving, any experience that you've had in the sector. If you've also maybe previously started a business and it failed or it succeeded, that's also good to share as well, right? Because then we understand that but you must share with us what lessons you've learned and how those lessons are being applied to this business that you are applying to get into the program. Okay, so it's really important that you've got a good mix of technical and business skills. We really discourage people that are solo founders, okay? And I think that's also something that investors also really look like. If you're the only one running your business, that means that if, God forbid, a bus hits you today, right, and you're no longer, that means that your business stops, right? So it's really important that you have either a co-founder or, people that you're working with to implement your implement your business. That also is a sign that you're a strong team to execute your business. Okay, another thing that we look for again is a scalable digital product. Okay, so is your product able to grow, and what does that growth look like? All right, so you have to be able to demonstrate that. Again, BongoHive, we're very, very strict on this, right? So we look for growth-minded people. If you're only just focusing on just Lusaka or just your community, this might not be a good program for you, because as I mentioned in the beginning, we're looking for people that are solving million-dollar problems, okay? And these are some of the things that we help founders also get into the mindset of doing, right? We will challenge you to show us how the problem you're solving is going to make you $1 million. Okay, this shouldn't scare you, because I know it scares a lot of people sometimes. This should challenge you. All right. Okay, so next is that you are demonstrating how the business makes money and will grow. So one thing that I absolutely hate hearing, if you're calling your business a project, a project has a definite start time and an end, okay? So that means that your business is not viable. That means that you're not focusing on making money or growing your business. So it's very important that through your application that you demonstrate how your business makes money. Okay, so we're not accepting any NGOs. We're not accept. You can be a social business, right? But don't focus so much on the social aspect. Okay, it's an advantage, right? That you have a social aspect to your business, that you're positively contributing to the economy, that you're positively contributing to society or to the environment. But at the same time, you must be able to clearly demonstrate and explain how your business is making money. So if you're running a business in a rural area, right, the prices that you're quoting should make sense, right, for people who are going to pay from rural areas, okay? So please be mindful of that. You will be expected to answer questions around this in the application form. And then finally, okay, your business must also show a positive impact. Again, this is a bonus, okay? If you're able to demonstrate how your business positively contributes to the environment, to society, to the economy, this would be a plus and you'll be at an advantage over others. And that's because in this day and age, businesses must be positively contributing to society. It's no longer enough just to focus on making money, right? So we also have to focus on people and the effect that you have on the community. So I hope this has been helpful, and please make sure that you read this criteria. Please make sure that you speak to it. Get straight to the point in your application. Don't rumble. Just get straight to the point and show us how you are a strong candidate for this program. All right, so we've got in total, so as I mentioned earlier, you will be getting grants. Successful applicants will be getting grants in this program. Okay, so as I mentioned, the top 10 that will be going through the accelerator, that will be selected for the acceleration phase of the program, will be getting grants, and your grants will range between 2,500 to 25,000. This is still going to be a competitive process. So just because you got into the program and you got into the top 10 doesn't necessarily mean that we will just hand you over 25,000 euros. You still have to justify why you need that. You'll be expected to draw up a budget. You'll be expected to develop milestones, okay, to show us how you're going to use the money. And based off of how you're using the money, that's how we're going to be dispersing the money. Okay, so we're not expecting people to buy cars for themselves or you pay their rent and things like that. So again, it's very, very much competitive. We are using money that has been funded, people's taxpayers' money, so we need to account for it. So please just bear that in mind. So we are giving grants from a range of 2,500 euros to 25,000. Across the incubation and the acceleration phases. However, these will be awarded in a milestone-based tranches based off of targets that you hit, and you will be setting those targets, right? We're not going to do that for you. So you make sure that you set targets that you're able to reach. In addition to this money that will be dispersed within the program, is that for all the 40 or 20 that have been part of the program, if BongoHive recommends you to the Self-Help Africa team, then you could also be eligible to get grants from between 25,000 euros to 100,000, okay? So all program graduates, not just the top 10, can be recommended to apply for larger growth grants, okay? So that means that at least we know that you would have gotten the necessary skills and the knowledge for you to be able to utilize these funds in a wise way. So if you do get recommended, you'll be able to apply for larger growth grants. So completing the program puts every graduate in a strong position for larger funding, regardless of the final ranking. Okay, so we're not just giving out money in the program. You do get other things that are also very, very important. That goes beyond funding. Okay, so this program wraps every participant in a full ecosystem of support. So you'll be getting technical support. Because this is a program that focuses on digital businesses, our team of developers will help you with developing your product, giving you guidance on how best to do that throughout the program. So this is going to be heavily done. It's going to be heavily done in the design sprint phase, in the business growth phase as well. You'll also be getting one-on-one support from our developers to be able to build, to improve your products, your tech products and your tech services. We do understand that technical expertise is very expensive. So some of you might have developers, in your team, some of you might not, but we will be able to provide you with that service once you are accepted into the program. You will also be getting dedicated mentorship, one-on-one mentorship. So the one-on-one mentorship is specifically for the top 10. However, for the other participants, so the top 40, the top 20, you will still be getting mentorship, but you'll be getting that in a group setting, which is not bad, right? So it's not bad because groups are also great because you get to then learn from different people's experiences within within your group. However, we needed to make sure that there's something to distinguish between, those that are top 40, top 20, and top 10. Okay, so you will still be getting dedicated mentorship to support you to execute your strategy and to scale your business and to do your work. So you'll be supported throughout the program to become investment ready. So we'll support you to refine your financial model. So to be able to clearly communicate how you're making money, to calculate your costs, your profits, what are some of the things that you should keep doing or stop doing to be able to really maximize the how you make money within your business and get you to be as prepared as possible to be able to raise money to scale your business. You'll also be getting legal support. Okay, so this will help you with your company structure. How should you structure your company? We'll talk about intellectual property, contracts, your due diligence. Will help you to prepare for due diligence that your investors will potentially take you through. We'll also be introducing you to corporates as well. So we'll be introducing you to partners, to strategic partners, to different market opportunities as well. And then you'll also get to interact with a lot of other experienced founders that will be able to share their insights on building and scaling businesses. So this is everything that you get in addition to money, right? So I know a lot of startups always talk about funding, but you might also through the program be introduced to partners that help you to expose you to a larger number of your customers, and that still gets you money in the end. Okay, so these are also other program benefits that you get once you're successfully admitted to the program. All right, so as I mentioned, top 40 will be going through a design lab for 2 months, and then they will then be cut down to 20 that will go through the business growth phase for 4 months. And after 4 months, the top 20 will then be expected to pitch to a panel of judges. Okay, so this will be around the 8th month of the program. So all 20 incubation startups will pitch to a panel of judges. Pitches will be assessed on traction, so how your business has grown over the past couple of months, what work you've done to ensure that it grows, what work you're going to keep on doing, your business model, your team, your vision. These are just some of the things that we're going to be looking at. Then only the top 10 advance to the acceleration phase. And then finally, all graduates remain eligible for growth grants should they be recommended by BongoHive. Okay, so how does the program work? I initially mentioned that the program is going to be hybrid. So we've ensured that we make sure, because we're working with founders from Lusaka and the Copper Belt, we've tried to ensure as much as possible that the program is both flexible and accessible to everybody. So majority of the sessions that will be delivered will be online. Again, this is a digital focused program. Okay, so the majority of the sessions will be delivered virtually, so founders can participate without disrupting their work. We also understand that because you are business owners, that there's work that you need to get done. So we don't expect you to come and sit down in a class, for a week, 2 weeks, okay? And we're also going to ensure that these sessions do take place after working hours. So you'll be able to still do, for some of you that are still, in formal employment, in your, going to your 9 to 5, these classes, these sessions will be done after hours to make sure that you are, that it's flexible enough for you to attend. So we've taken into account all those things. We will have in-person moments, so it's really important. We can't have a fully online program. That means you will be required to also move around and come to physical sessions. So one of them obviously is the roadshow. We will have a number of key workshops as well. We will have networking events where these are the events where you'll be introduced to partners. So of course, for those ones, it's important that you'll have to come physically. And then the demo day will also be held in person as well. Okay, so we have a few in-person moments. For those of you that will be admitted into the program, we'll be able to give you more details on that. The application is taking place on IdeaSpring platform. So that is a BongoHive developed recruitment platform where we accept applications for our programs. So this is our online hub where you can apply, you can track your progress. You'll also be submitting your milestones there. You'll be engaging with us there as well. So once you're admitted to the program, you'll also be onboarded onto the platform to also be able to do other work as well. Okay, so in terms of the time commitment, it's important, again, as we mentioned, this is not just about you showing up just for the money. Okay, so it's important. And one of the things that we look at is how dedicated and committed you are to the program. And that's why it's important for us as well that you have a co-founder, because if there are two of you that are, running the business, if one person is not available, then the other can come. However, for the physical touch points, we will only be able to accept one person. But because the program is primarily online, we do expect that to the best of your ability, unless you have a very good reason why you can't attend the sessions, but it will affect your performance in the program, because that is one of the things that we'll be looking at as well to inform us whether you're moving on to the next stage or not. Okay, so we've got weekly group sessions. So this is where you'll be doing your core learning. And then we've got the virtual clinics. So here you'll either be having one-on-one or you'll be having group mentorship sessions. And then so you will once you're in the program, you'll be expected to develop milestones. So those milestones will help us to keep you accountable for your growth in the program. So we'll be checking in on how you're doing. Are you hitting your goals? Are you lagging behind? So it also helps us know how best to support you as well to ensure that you're being successful in the program. And then we'll also have occasional in-person events that we'll tell you more about for those of you that will be accepted into the program. So finally, how do you apply to get into the program? So one of the ways that you can do it is attending a roadshow. So again, if you get the opportunity to do that, I would really, really encourage you to do so. It's a 2-day session in your city. So that is Lusaka, Kitwe, or Ndola. And this will help you to strengthen how you communicate about your business and increase your chances of success. Okay, so that's the first touch point. That's one of the ways. So just because you attend a roadshow doesn't mean that you're admitted into the program. We're just doing that just to support you to be able to increase your chances to submit a successful application. So I do want to clarify that, because some people were thinking that because they attended the roadshow that they were immediately accepted into the program. That is not the case, okay? The roadshow is just for us to support you. So that means that if you attend a roadshow, you pretty much have a cheat sheet. You're at an advantage over those that didn't attend a roadshow, because you've gotten all this information that we've shared with you. All right, so second way that you should apply is to submit your application via IdeaSpring. So this is our application platform. And right after I'm done with this slide, I will pass it on to my colleague Mulemwa, who kicked us off, to just take us through the application process, just to make sure that we're all aligned and all on the same page. So this is our online hub for applying and tracking your application process, okay? So the first stage, once you've submitted your application process, The first stage of screening is that we're going to look at your compliance. So again, whatever documents we ask you to attach. So because we're only accepting businesses that have an MVP, we will also require you to maybe submit a link or just proof that you have an MVP. Okay, so if you don't have an MVP and we don't see that in the application, you will not go to the second phase. Okay, if we do not see that you have your PACRA registration, you will not move on to the next phase. Okay, so please just ensure that you are eligible for the program. Make sure you've got all your documents. Okay, don't leave this to last minute. Go onto the platform, check what we're looking for. If you don't have some of the requirements, do the work that you need to do and come back to the platform. The second stage will then be a deep assessment. So we'll be looking at the answers that you have, that you've submitted. We'll then be judging, really trying to understand, is this a business that is scalable? Is this a business that can grow? Is this a team that can even grow this business? What experience do they have? Do they understand their problem? Does the solution fit the problem? Does it look like they've talked to customers? Things like that. So we'll be looking at things a bit, on a deeper level. All this to pick the top 40 startups that will then be onboarded onto the design lab phase. So you can find the link to apply to the program on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, on our WhatsApp channels, TikTok, X, right? So whatever social media platforms you use, just look out for this program. Okay, so key dates, 26 February 2026. That's when we opened the applications. So they've been running for almost a month now. We're doing our road shows, which should be ending in April. 5th April is when the applications will close, and we will then be announcing when the design labs will begin, when the demo day will take place, and the acceleration phases as well. So for now, these are the main key dates that you need to know. If you're accepted into the program, then you'll have more visibility on the other dates. So Mulemwa, just passing this back to you before I touch on the other slides. If you could just please take us through the application platform.
Okay. Please allow me to share my screen.
Okay.
Okay. So once you click on the application form, wherever you come across it, be it through this information session or through the different posts that have been put on our different social media platforms, you will be directed to IdeaSpring, which is where the application form for this particular program is sitting, and then you would be required to set up an account. So once you set up an account, in my case, I already have one. So once you set up your account, you click on the program that you're applying for, which is GreenTech4CE, Digital Economy, Incubator, and Accelerator, and then click on View Details to learn more about what the program is about. Momo did spend quite a number of minutes highlighting what the program is about. So in case there's something you missed, you could still read through this, as well as the eligibility criteria and the program structure, just to see that you actually be available to attend all the required sessions. And then it was also highlighted that if you are not within the circular economy space, that's still fine, because our key focus are just ensuring that digital first businesses are the ones that are applying for this particular core. So once you fully understand that, you click on Start Application, and then you'll be directed to the program application form. And then from there, a number of questions will be asked that you are required to fill out. So there's questions on demographic data, so your name, the primary person that's applying for the program, which in this case is the co-founder or the founder of the company. So what's your role in the business? You state that. You share your age with us, you share your gender with us, your nationality, as well as your active email address and active phone number, because we will get to contact you after the application is closed. So please ensure that you add contact details that actually go through. And then also indicate the province that you're applying from, and also indicate if you are a person with disability, you could also indicate that there. And then share with us your LinkedIn profile. And then after this demographic data is entered, you move on to the business profile and compliance section. So here we want to know more about details of your business, so your startup name, your company website, if you have a company website. If you don't, you could also indicate your active social media platform for your business, just to give us a better understanding of what you do, and if your platform or your business is actually really active in the market. So please ensure that you also indicate that there. Also indicate the sector that you're in. So you could select from the different sectors that have been indicated here. If none of them fit the profile of the sector that you're in, you could also then specify it through the next question. And then tell us more about your business model. So here we're asking about how your business operates. Do you sell your product or your service to other businesses? Do you sell your product to direct consumers? Or do you sell your product or service to the government? Or is it a mixture of businesses as well as consumers? You could also indicate that there. And then the current stage that you're at, is it that you have an idea at the moment, or is it that you have a prototype but you don't have users yet? Do you have an MVP with some users in the market, or are you at your growth stage? We are now looking to scale your business. And then also indicate if your company is registered with PACRA. Don't lie, because we will do our due diligence and eventually find out if you don't provide correct information. So ensure that you are as honest as possible, even as you give your responses in the application form, because we do carry out our due diligence. If your company is also registered with ZRA, you could also indicate that there. Then from there, we move on to our strategy, traction, and team section. So here we want to know more about the solution that you're providing and the problem that you've identified in the market. So tell us more about what you're building. So what exactly is your product or service, and what exactly is it addressing? And who is your target customer? So who are you providing that solution to? Be as clear as possible. Not everybody could be your customer, so tell us more about the type of person that you are targeting or you are currently providing your solution to. And from there, we also want to know if there's any evidence that validates that this is an actual need in the market. So what research or what findings did you gather even when you were providing this solution to the problem that you identified? So this is where you get to also provide that further evidence to show that you actually did your research and validated that there's an actual need in the market. And tell us why this hasn't been done before. Everybody says their solution is unique, but then what makes it unique, and what sets you apart in the market? So what barriers or gaps have you identified that are preventing other people from doing what it is that you are currently providing? And then go a step further, and then the next question asks us about something in the space that others don't know. So what is it that you've identified within the market or within the sector that you're in that others haven't yet figured out? So what's your unfair advantage? You get to share that here. And this is only possible if you actually do your research, look at what's in the market, look at what the gaps in the market are, and then look inward and what are your strengths and what does your team possess that sets you apart in the market. So you could also highlight that there. And then tell us about the direct impact of your solution on the environment, as highlighted by Momo. If you also have that, you could also talk about the social impact of your business. And then from there, we'll move on to how you make money. So how exactly are you making money from your business? Are you charging commissions? Are you charging subscriptions, or another revenue model? Is it that you white label whatever solution that you have? Also indicate that there. And then tell us more about the revenue that you're generating. So what's the average monthly revenue that you have generated within the last 6 months? As mentioned, a key emphasis for this program is traction. So if you could exhibit that traction even in your application, that will make you stand out. So you could pick from the drop-down menu where your traction or your revenue range falls under and indicate that. And then from there, tell us more about the number of paying customers that you currently have. You also be able to click that from the drop-down menu on the platform. And then tell us about the number of founders that you have in your business. If you're a solo founder, you indicate that there, but you are highly encouraged, and we highly encourage that the people that apply are people that have co-founders, because it's a lot that's required of you, and running a business alone isn't the easiest of things. So if you are currently a solo founder, find other people that have strengths that you yourself don't possess to ensure that you actually execute on whatever it is that you're working on. And then another requirement of the program is that you have a co-founder that is able to then join in the sessions, because obviously you have other things going on and sometimes you won't be available to attend some of the sessions. So it's always best if more than one person is actively involved in the program. That way, whenever somebody else isn't able to attend, there's always somebody else stepping in and ensuring that you're clear and that you following through the requirements of the program and are not missing out on any valuable information. And then from there, I would also like to know the technical background of your team. So do you have a technical co-founder? Do you have a CTO? You indicate that there, and this will also inform the type of support you receive if you are selected from our tech team here. So also indicate that there. And then we want to then know more about the team that you have. What skill sets do they possess? What skill set, what other things have they worked on? Why are your team members and yourself the best people to build the solution that you're currently providing in the market? And then heavy on the traction. So what's the most impressive thing you've achieved within the last 6 months? Have you increased your user base? Have you gotten a patent for whatever it is that you're working on? Or the amazing stuff that you've been working on within the last 6 months could be indicated on that particular section. And then we move on to section D. So for this one, we would like to know, we would like to see the certification of the Packer document that you said you possess. So you upload it there. And then we also require for you to submit a product demo video link. So highlighting how your solution works. If it's an app, you show us how your app works. You show us how the user interface is and how people use the platform and what the final thing looks like. So also ensure that you're also ready to show that, because remember, we mentioned that this is a program for people that are digital first. So I'd like to see that you're actually working on those things that you said that you're working on. And then lastly, you have your declaration section. So tell us about your availability. Remember, this is a very intensive 12-month program, so you must be available to participate and be an active participant of the program. So indicate your commitment levels. And after you do that, read the terms and conditions of the program. So what are the requirements? What is expected? How is your data treated? And all that is indicated within the terms and conditions. So please ensure that you read that if you're curious about what we do with the data for your application. And then if you are agreeable to that, you could then click on the agree program terms and conditions and submit your application. And after you do that, you will wait for the team. Once applications close, they will go through a comprehensive review and you will be able to be notified within the month of April on your application status. So in a nutshell, this is what the application form is about, and this is what will be expected of you even as you submit your application. I will hand over to Momo to take us through the next segment.
All right, thank you, Miriam, for that thorough review of the application form. So I will just share some answers to a few frequently asked questions, and then we will then open up for Q&A. So first question is, again, which cities is this open to? So as much as we've shared so much information, we do get questions from people that have already been answered. So here are questions that we usually get. So founders, this program is open for founders in Lusaka, Quito, and Ndola, and the roadshows will be taking place in each city. Okay, so the program is free. It is fully funded by the European Union, so there's no cost to apply or to participate in any part of the program. So if you don't make it to the top 10, you are still, if you are recommended by BongoHive, you could still apply for the growth grants, which are between 25,000 euros to 100,000. So how much time is required weekly? Okay, so you'll be having 2 weekly online sessions plus a bi-weekly milestone reporting. Most of the program will be online, but you will be required to attend some sessions physically. Okay, so does your startup need to be green focused? No, your startup is not required to be green focused. But we have a strong digital business priority. So if your business is not digital, you don't qualify, but you have to have a digital business, and the green impact is just a bonus. Okay. So if your startup is in agriculture, can I apply? So agriculture is a sector that is excluded from this program. So if you have a strong digital layer, then you should speak to us, and then we'll be able to let you know whether you qualify or not. So do I need a registered company? Absolutely, yes. You need a registered company. You need a valid PACRA certificate before the 5th of April, when the deadline for this program approaches. How do you apply? You apply via the Idea Spring platform, which we just demonstrated by completing that application form. And you can find this link on all our BongoHive social media pages, okay? And the deadline for application is the 5th of April. All right, so your opportunity awaits you. If you're building something that matters for the digital economy, we really, really encourage you to apply for the program. As you've seen, the benefits are not few. There are a lot. You'll be part of a ecosystem, local ecosystem. You'll be getting a lot of support. Please do make sure that you apply before the deadline. Don't leave it for last minute. Take some time. As you've seen through the application form, you're able to save your application, so you can do it maybe over a period of 2 days if you feel like it's too long. But we are giving you up to 25,000 euros, so we do expect to get as much information as we can and make sure that we're admitting the right people into the program. So that is it from me in terms of the information that are being provided. This information session video will be available on YouTube for you to refer back to. It will also be available on Facebook and other social media platforms so that you can review it as well. So with that being said, I will then open it up for questions. All right, so I do, yeah, Mulema, go ahead.
The chat.
Okay, so first question here is from Kangwa Kasonde. Hi, Momo, what are the dates for Ndola and Kitwe Roadshow? So those dates will be shared with you. If you could just look out for the information that we'll be sharing online. So they will be taking place in the next week or two. So please make sure that you do look out for those. All right. Thank you, Kangwa, for your question. Next question from an anonymous attendee. Hey, if a business is not yet eligible, is this program available for next year? So we're not entirely sure, but like I said, BongoHive implements several other programs. This is just one of them. So I will encourage you to look through our social media platforms, look at our newsletters for opportunities. You get that every single Monday, and just look out for the program that you qualify for. Yeah. All right, so next question. Do you have a former digital program you can refer us to just to gain inspirational motivation from their own type of business that's now out there and working? Do you have a former digital program you can refer us to just gain inspirational motivation? Okay, so this again from an anonymous attendee. So if you do go on our website, www.bongohive.co.zm, we do have a page where we share a lot of our different stories and the impact that we're making in the ecosystem. So you can read different stories there. So As I mentioned, we do run a lot of different other programs, and we always post our impact online. So we share stories from successful entrepreneurs. We have different events as well that we put on. We're always inviting different startups to talk about their journeys. So yes, we do have that information. If you go through our social media platforms, you go on our website, you check out our stories, you'll be able to see those stories there. Thank you. Next question from an anonymous attendee. What if the company is located in Lusaka but operates in Eastern Province? Okay, that's a very good question. Anonymous attendee, I would tell you to still apply for the program, and we will take it from there. Just make sure that your program, that your business is a digital business and that you qualify for all the other eligibility criteria. Okay, from Muvanga Chanda. If your product or service is both agricultural and digital, is it eligible? Unfortunately, Muvanga, your product is still in the agricultural space, so no, it is not eligible. Like I mentioned, because there are other programs that are focusing on agriculture. So once that is live, please just look out for it on the South of Africa page, the EU page. We'll probably also be sharing it, but unfortunately, we are not accepting any businesses that are in the agricultural space. Okay, are STEM-focused educational digital startups eligible? Yes, we are admitting businesses in every sector except the agriculture sector. So if you're a STEM-focused educational digital startup, that means you're in the educational sector and you've got a digital startup, that means that you qualify. Okay, so these are all the questions we've received through Zoom. And Mulemwa has posted the link to the application form in the chat. So please make sure you click on the link, make sure you save it. Mulemwa, please do let me know if you have any other questions coming through from other platforms.
There's a question on the Ndola Roadshow, but I think you already addressed that. You mentioned that they should be on the lookout on their social media platforms in the next week or two.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So we're about 8 minutes over time. I do want to thank those that still stuck it through with us. Thank you so much for attending, and I hope this was very helpful for everyone that is thinking of applying to the program. We will continue to share more information. Make sure you attend our roadshows, apply. If you do have any questions, we've got all the details. You can message us on any social media platform, and we'll be able to answer your questions for you. With that said, I would like to bring the session to a close, and this session, the recording of the session will be shared on YouTube for your reference. Thank you. Have a good afternoon and a good weekend as well.